Good news for that trade deal, of course, but pretty bad news coming out from Twitter today. The microblogging site has announced it's going to be cutting about 9% of its workforce. It had been rumoured last week. Revenue growth is also slowing as well during the third quarter. That growth, though, it did come in slightly better than expected, about $616 million. Well, with me now is Niel Bornman, who is the Global Chief Product Officer at iProspect. Jack Dorsey, the boss, saying, we have a clear plan. Do you believe him?
I'm sceptical. I think he's had the better part of this year to come up with that plan and make us believe. I think, some of the deals they've done around the NFL, some of the, the new approaches they've taken, we're not seeing that translate into future growth of users. And I think at the end of the day, what we're seeing now with the, reduction of their staff is, are they getting ready for a sale?
Yeah, I mean, but they've been unable to find a buyer. It was pretty open and clear that they wanted one. They're still losing money. I mean, how are they finding it so tough?
I think partly they, if you compare their growth rates to the likes of Instagram and Snapchat, they haven't been able to unlock a new following and a growing following base. They've got trolling as a massive social issue that they're dealing with. That I think is something they've got to take some ownership of and resolve very quickly. I think they've had too many management changes over the years. They need to stabilize the ship and actually bring to bear products that consumers want to engage with.
Yeah, it's been a real revolving door at the top, hasn't it? Now, they are placing a big bet on live streaming video. They've signed lots of big deals. Do you think that's the way forward for this company?
I think the way forward for most companies of their ilk is video. That's what consumers want today. That's how they engage. If you look at what Snapchat is doing, if you look at Instagram, that is certainly the direction. Facebook Live, all of these platforms are launching engagements for consumers that are video focused. So there's undoubtedly it's one of the ways forward.
Do you reckon Twitter is actually going to find a buyer?
No.
Not at all.
Think so. If you look at what the CEO of Salesforce said, he was keen on looking at Twitter, but his investors said no way. And I think that is a sign of the times. People are very skeptical of, is there a plan? Can they pull it out, basically a rabbit out of a hat over here, start growing their base and turn it into some profitable business?
There was a little bit of bright news from this company today. They said that the number of new users that they were bringing to the site was actually growing, that it had grown a little bit better than expected. So, are some of their plans working out for them? Yes,
I think again it's this concept of what is expected. They've had 8 quarters of better than expected revenue, but I think it's been 8 quarters during which the analysts typically have expected poorer performance as a result. So I think if you really start comparing them to some of the guys they need to be compared with, they're growing slower than the others. They've got less people actively contributing to the platforms, and I think that's in the end going to result in some tough times ahead.
Yeah, very tough times ahead for Twitter. Niel Bornman, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.